Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Alec, your jack of all games, master of none, here with a Digimon deck profile. This is my quote-unquote tournament-winning Ophanimon loop profile for the EX3 meta game. I did win a tournament with it, but it was really just a local, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But I do think this deck list is decently solid and fun, and I'll show you all about it. So, this is Ophanimon loop. So instead of my typical Mastermon fashion, I'm running 4 Demi-Meramons, which I think is in general just the best egg you can be using. You know how it works. On delete, you draw one, trash one. It helps you filter your hand, get the pieces you need. And we don't really mind throwing things to trash, and you'll see. I am running a low count of rookies, just 8, but these are the Floodgate rookies. These guys are very solid across many, many different matchups right now. Death Xmon and any deck that wants to reduce play costs, so that's like Blue Flare, and there's even a few Crossheart players still running around with the Digi-Cross mechanics. This stops that. Gazimon has always been pretty useful. It stops just memory shenanigans, and I gotta love it. I've won many matchups purely because I would get 2 of whichever thing that deck hates the most on board, and it's been solid, like very, very solid. Next up is my level 4 champions. So this is the Cat Brigade. We have 4 Gatomons. This is the heart and soul of the deck. It's your speed, it's your consistency, it's still everything. But what I like about this deck, more so than my Mastermon deck when using Gatomon, is that I can just Digivolve into it from my raising area. I won't get its effect, but I don't need the effect as much because I'm not searching for these huge combo pieces anymore. And then I have 2 Black Gatomons. This deck is going to try to go do rush for game way more often than my old Mastermon deck does. So I bumped Black Gatomon up to 2, and you'll see why. But I want to get this card in my trash or in my hand as fast as possible. And last but not least is Meikumon. It is another yellow purple out of security. It plays itself, and it's just a solid. It's a solid level 4 to run with the deck. Once again, I do bring things out of my breeding area a lot more with this list. So having the Meikumon is just an extra body. And even the Black Gatomon, their inheritables are fairly solid. Meikumon will give me memory, and Black Gatomon gives me retaliation. And both of those things are just great tools to have when you're trying to break down someone's board or just survive. Next up, we have our level 5. So we have our 4 starter deck Angelmon, our 2 older starter deck Angelmon, and then our 3 Angelmon X. So this is still pretty standard, I think, for an Ophanimon loop deck. This Angelmon, this is the one from the recent starter deck. You slap her down, give somebody security -2. She only costs 6, so she works with your option cards. And you'll be slapping her down a lot, especially with the mega lineup that I'm using. Getting that -2 off on things is very, very useful. I'm running the other starter deck, Angelmon, just as a secondary option. There are times when I don't really need to -2 something, or I'm not trying to get the inheritable to get that security attack +1, which I do want, but sometimes I don't need it. Sometimes I just need to survive. And I'll be at 3 or 2 security, and Digivolve into her, she'll give me 1 more, and I can keep going. So what I really like about Angelmon X is that it kind of just builds upon what each of the Angelmons do. She can recover 1 if you Digivolve over an Angelmon, so much in the way of this Angelmon. But also, she can security minus something like this Angelmon. So depending on what I really need in a moment, if I have an Angelmon and her in hand, I can just double up on it. I can security -2 one thing, security -1 another, or I can recover 1, then recover again. These are my only options, so you're always going to get both of her effects. And then my mega lineup. So this is no surprise. I am running my Ophanimon fall down modes. And you know how we run it, because when Ophanimon gets deleted, you get to play a level 4 aura from your trash. Presumably, you're playing the Gatomon. But because we run Floodgate rookies, there are times when you just want to bring out one of these 2. Just to double up on a Floodgate effect, or maybe you're out of Gatomons or you don't need a Gatomon, just get these guys. I've done both of those things before. And gotta remember, guys, when you bring Gatsumon out the trash, it gets the effect again to pull another two cards out your deck. It's just good advantage. It's good resource management. You want to have as many Ophanimons like ready to go as possible. This is because we call it Ophanimon loop, but it's not indefinite. If you can run out of these, and we can get them out the trash, but it's a little finicky. But luckily, that's not the only mega we run here. We're also running 2 Venusmon. Now, this one is huge. This is Venusmon from BT10. Venusmon says, when Digivolving, all your opponent's Digimon get security -1. And I misunderstood that. I thought that I would Digivolve into this, and then all Digimon on my opponent's board currently get that -1 until the end of the opponent's turn. That's not how it works, actually. It's kind of like an ice wall, where you Digivolve into this on your turn, and then all Digimon your opponent controls this turn and during their next turn get security -1. So they can make a brand new Digimon or push something out of raising, and they'll get the -1. But you're not just protecting yourself. Her second effect is during the opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon that have a security effect, whether that's security plus or security minus, they can't use their when Digivolving effects, they can't use their when attacking effects, and they can't attack her. It's a huge lockout of your opponent's ideas and strategies. She essentially says, you get a free turn. You play me, your opponent kind of can't mess with you. I love this card against red decks specifically. They're all about getting security effects. They want to get their when Digivolving effects. They want to get their when attacking effects. I turn all that mess off. Just, nope, can't do it. And if you do it at the right time, you might just completely disrupt their entire game, and that might just be a free win for you. Venusmon is a huge card in aggressive matchups, but I also love it against many OTK decks. I love it against Grand Kawagamon, Garurumon. That opponent's turn effect, it works alongside Angelmon and Angelmon X, because they don't have to get the security effect from her to get turned off. They just have to have a security effect. So you can place it with these two, and then they'll be locked out due to Venusmon's effect. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love this card. But I do have one more mega, and I'm a Mastermind player. What can I say? It is the first Mastermind. So this Mastermind is purely here for quick kills. Essentially, the idea here is you Digivolve into this Mastermind. It gets its effect. Both you and your opponent lose 1 security. Then you play a Digimon from your trash. Presumably, you play Black Gatomon. Black Gatomon has Rush, so you can swing for a security. So that's 1, 2, and then Mastermind herself can swing. That's 3 security. But you guys know what kind of deck this is, right? So there is an extremely good chance that Mastermind has Angelmon underneath her. So that's actually 2 checks, 1 check, then her effect, another check. That's 4 security. So if your opponent has 3 security, that's game. In the previous build of this deck, I didn't have Venusmon in. It was just Ophanimon and these Mastermons. It was a very kind of aggressive style of the deck. Running the Venusmons plus the Mastermon, I feel like it runs a bit slower, but it's at a tempo that I find really manageable and pretty decent in this metagame. It's really solid stuff, especially if you have a very aggressive locals, which given the state of meta right now, you probably do. All right, and 1 level 7, I have Death Xmon. What can I say? He's a staple. And then options. So recently limited, but still pretty good, Calling from Darkness. You can just delete your Ophanimon, grab 2 cards with its effect, bring something back with Ophanimon's effect, and you're off to the races. This is also my primary way of getting Ophanimons out the trash to reuse them when I'm starting to run low. Because sometimes you end up with Ophanimons in your security, and then you're in a little bit of trouble. We're running 2 copies of Win Rate 60%. That's just to make those expensive 4-cost Digivolutions, well, essentially 2, which is a huge, huge time saver. Flame Hellscythe at 4 because, this is a yellow-purple deck, and we do not like our opponents. and then 3 Chaos Degradations, I could afford to go to 4. I mean, everyone hates this card, but 3's been all right for me. 3's been all right. Those are all the options. And now Tamers. So I have 3 Analog Youths. This is kind of how I justify my lower rookie count. I think of Analog Youth kind of like a rookie. He gets me a card as if I Digivolved into something. And it costs 2, so I can do some memory choking shenanigans with it. It's kind of a filler card, but when you can get its effect of when a level 5 Digimon that has sources gets deleted on your side, you get to hatch and gain a memory. That's not bad, especially since because it costs 2, oftentimes you'll have 2 Analog Youths on board, so you can gain memory off 1 deletion, which is not bad. 2 Makos. We do still play yellow-purple Digimon, so you can get the memory boost, but it's mostly here just to get more cards. Speaking of getting more cards, but also being a memory fixer, is TK, and 1 Kari Kamiya, so I can gain more memory when I recover. This is an Angelmon deck. You're going to recover. It's very, very solid. And yeah, this is the list. As far as matchups, I think this deck performs very well into... I think this has solid matchups across the board. The only thing that feels a little iffy for me is things like Security Control or other control decks in general. But because Ophanimon does float when it gets deleted, those matchups, while tough, I don't think are unwinnable. But that's my profile, guys. Let me know what you think. And stay tuned for more Digimon content or one of the many other games that I play. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.